So we're going to have a look at this question 21, which is an indices question. So we know that y is equal to 4a to the power of k, z to the power of w. We know what z is and we know what y is. So if I just sub these in, we know that y is 4ax squared. And we know that y is equal to 4a to the k times z, which is this. So times a squared x cubed to the power of w. So that's what z is, z to the power of w. Now I'm just going to simplify. So we get 4ax squared on this side. Now on this side, if I simplify using laws of indices, we know that if we raise something to the power of the power, we times the powers. So we get a to the power of 2w, so we're timesing that, and then x to the power of 3w. Now, simplifying even further, 4ax squared will equal to 4, and if we're multiplying, if we're expanding this bracket, there's no plus or minus in the middle, so we're just kind of expanding and simplifying the fact that this a is times this a. So if we times, the powers add together, so we know that this becomes 4a to the power of k plus 2w, and then it's just x to the power of 3w, okay, because it's just all multiplying, so we're just putting them next to each other. Now, if we compare coefficients, we can see the 4 and the 4 is the same, so that's fine. In terms of the a's, we can see that this is a to the power of 1, and this is a to the power of k plus 2w. So we could write that 1 must be equal to k plus 2w. That's one equation. We can also see that in terms of the x, we've got 2 and we've got 3w. So 3w must be equal to 2. So if we're comparing the two sides, we can see that the power of x have got to be the same for these two things to be equal. So in other words, w is going to equal to 2/3 if we solve that equation. So that is 2/3. If we now solve the second equation that we've written, 1 equals k plus 2w, we now know that w is 2/3. So we get 1 equals k plus 4 over 3, and therefore k is 1 minus 4/3, which is minus 1/3. So our answer to that is minus 1/3. Now, if we have a look at the last question, again, it's just all to do with laws of indices. N is equal to m times m to the power of m. So in other words, we can write n is equal, we know that m is 10 to the power of 3, so 10 to the power of 3 times 10 to the power of 3 raised to the power of m. Well, 10 to the power of 3, guys, is just 10 times 10 times 10. So we could actually simplify that to 1,000. So we're raising that to the power of 1,000. So we get 10 to the power of 3. If we raise a power to the power, we multiply, so that becomes 3,000. So 3 times 1,000. And then when we've got the same base, we're going to multiply, so we're going to add the indices, so we get 10, 3 plus 3,000, which is going to be 10 to the power of 3,003. So in other words, we're saying that n is 3,003, or it just says in the form of 10 to the power of n, so my answer at the bottom is just 10 to the power of 3,003, and that's my answer. Done.